boys and girls. Welcome to Miss Etta's Academic Corner. Yay! So, we have with us Judah Sr. and Judah Jr. Hi there. I see you, Josiah. I see you, JJ. I see you, Bree. Woo, woo, woo. We're going to read a book. We're going to read a book. We're going to read a book. Yes, guys. Thank you so much for being so faithful and joining us every week as we read a new adventure. And today we're going to read one of your favorite characters. Can you guess who that is? Curious George. Yes, Curious George. So you guys have a seat right here. You can sit next to your dad because y'all live in the same house. So y'all can sit right there. So get ready. If you have your pajamas on, that's cool. Your PJs, get nice and cozy. If you don't have in your pajamas, still get comfortable. Make sure if you have anything to drink, you put it on the side. You don't want to waste anything. If you have any cookies, that's good. So we're going to read Curious George and the Birthday Surprise. So everybody that's watching, you have a birthday. Sometimes we have birthday surprises. And sometimes we have balloons and cakes and all kinds of things. So what do we have here? We have a softback book. Always check out your book. Even if it's a book that you read or a character you read before, look at the book. This book is one of the yellow ones. And it has blue and it has red, brown, yellow. Is written by Margaret and H.A. Rays, Curious George and the Birthday Surprise. We see all kinds of colors. We see red, we see blue, we see brown, we see white. And in the back, we see a cake. Now, here it says bonus activities inside. Remember, some of Curious George has bonus activities, not all of them. So let's look at the back of the book. It's a word puzzle. All these words that you find on the puzzle are in the book. So if you read the book or you listen to the book, this should make the puzzle easier to do. I see words like game, hat, candle. Oh, I see a lot of words. I'm not going to tell you anymore, just in case you get the book. What else do they have inside? Here they have in the back, they have a maze. And you know what a maze, you start at one point, you got to go and find your way to the finish. At the finish of this maze, Curious George gets ice cream cones. Ice cream cones have been around for over 100 years. They first became popular at the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair. Did you know that ice cream was that old? That's a long time, right? So, let's open this book. Again, it's Margaret and H.A. Rays that wrote it. And it's illustrated in the style of H.A. Ray by Martha Weston. Now, just like in school, sometimes we hear background outside noises. We have to focus on what we're reading and what the teacher is speaking. So this, I want you to hear carefully. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. Today is a special day. The man with the yellow hat told George at breakfast, I have a surprise plan and lots to do to get ready. You can help me by staying out of trouble. George was happy to help. Here they are sitting eating breakfast. Breakfast is an important meal of the day. Make sure you eat your breakfast before you leave the house, before you go to school, before you have your activities. Eat your breakfast. That gives you your energy for the rest of the day. So George and the man with the yellow hat, I see a bowl of cereal. I see a banana. The man with the yellow hat look like he's drinking coffee. Oh, and there's milk. That's very good. A good breakfast. Now, the man told him, the man with the yellow hat told him to not get in any trouble. Okay, we'll see how that works. Later, while George was looking out the window and being very good, he heard some tinkling music. It was coming from an ice cream truck. Wow, you know the ice cream truck has that music, so you could hear it coming down the block. George watched as a whole line of children and their dogs enjoyed some ice cream treats. It looked like fun. But when the ice cream truck moved on, George forgot all about staying out of trouble and went to find some fun of his own. So there's the ice cream truck. You see it? Everybody's lined up to get some ice cream. You know, what's your favorite flavor ice cream, boys and girls? Mine's is chocolate. My brother's was vanilla. My mother was strawberry. Then she used to get the ice cream that had chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. I didn't like that at all. I didn't want my chocolate ice cream around vanilla, and I didn't want it around strawberry. Now I like a flavor ice cream called cookies and cream. That's real good. Now, in the living room, George found some noisemakers and hats and games. Could this be part of his friend's surprise? Before George could find out, he spotted some streamers, balloons, and colored tissue. He could not resist. So it looks like George found all the stuff for the party. George is playing with it. You see, he found the hats, he found the balloons, he found the streamers, and George is pulling those things out. Decorating was easy for a little monkey. So, since George found everything, he decided to decorate the place. Still, George was curious about the surprise and what was that good smell coming from the kitchen. George followed his nose. Look how George decorated. Now, boys and girls, make sure when you decorate, you get help from your parents or your big brother, big sister, your aunt, your uncle, your older niece, your older nephew, whoever. Don't do it by yourself. This is a very interesting decoration that George has. But George was more interested in the smell that was coming out of the kitchen. What do you think it was? It wasn't ice cream, but what else do we have at a birthday party? Come on, take a guess. Come on, guess. Okay, hey guys, what do you think it is? Okay, that's right, a cake. It was a cake. And it looked as good as it smelled. All it needed was frosting. George had seen his friend making frosting before, but today his friend was busy. Maybe George could help. He could frost the cake himself. I don't know, George. First, George put a bit of this in the mixing bowl. Next, he added a bit of that. Then he turned the mixer on, and the frosting whirled around and around and around and around and around and around. My favorite flavor of frosting is chocolate. Chocolate. So I like chocolate cake and I like chocolate frosting. Thing is, they got a lot of frosting, different flavors of frosting. So you can get almost anything you want. Okay, now, the stuff that he put together in the bowl was mixing. So the frosting was whirling around and around, and it was whirling too fast. But when George tried to stop the mixer, it went faster and faster and faster. George lifted the beaters out of the bowl. Frosting flew everywhere. You can't take the beaters out of the bowl while the frost, while they're whipping around, while the power is on, because then it just splashes everything all over the house. So George looked like he had a mess. Whew. That's why it's important, boys and girls, for you to have help when you're in the kitchen. Don't do it by yourself. Poor George, he did not mean to make such a mess. He had only wanted to help. How could he? So sometimes when we're having a hard time getting a sentence out, let's stop, take a breath, and start over. Now, how could he clean up the sticky kitchen? Just then, George heard the tinkling music again. That's the music that went to the ice cream truck. The ice cream truck was coming back up the street, and George had an idea. Quickly, he opened the door. Look at that mess. Ooh, whoa, whoa. That kitchen looked like a hot mess. That's a lot of cleaning got to go on. How is George going to do this? Well, quickly he opened the door, and what did George do? He invited all the dogs in for a treat. In no time, the kitchen was as clean as a whistle. So all the dogs that he invited in came in, and they licked up the frosting. Now, I don't know if dogs are supposed to eat frosting. I would not let them eat frosting, so don't give your dogs any frosting. Don't give your cats any frosting either, okay? But in the book, in no time, the kitchen was as clean as a whistle. Yes, it was a party. It was a party. Oh, we skipped the page. When the dogs finished their snack, George took them back outside. The ice cream truck was still there, and so was his friend. "George," said the man with the yellow hat, "I've been looking for you. It's time for the surprise." George had found hats, games, decorations, and a cake. He was curious. Well, what's the surprise? See the little dogs out there? Yep. They left the house. They got everything clean. The man with the yellow hat found George. Now, what's the surprise? Can you guess? I don't know what the answer is. Let's turn the page and look. Yes, it was a party. George was happy to see all his friends. They were glad to see George too. "What great decorations," Bill said. "What a lot of presents," said Betsy. "Why don't you play some games with the guests, George?" the man with the yellow hat suggested. "I have one more thing to do." So isn't that fun when all your friends and family can come over while you have a party? Now, sometimes we have big parties and sometimes we have small parties. No matter how many people show up, it doesn't matter. It's still fun to have presents and balloons and to eat a cake and sit around talking. So when George's friend came back, he was carrying a cake covered in candles. This wasn't just any party, it was a birthday party. But George was still curious. Whose birthday was it? He watched to see who would blow out the candles. Okay, guys and girls, whose birthday is it? Hey, Judah and Junior Judah, whose birthday is it? Who's the book about? That's right, Curious George. The man with the yellow hat put the cake down right in front of George. That was a surprise. It was George's birthday. The party was for him. Everyone sang happy birthday. Then George took a deep breath and made a wish. He blew out the candles and everyone said, "Happy birthday, George." So whenever your birthday is, remember, it's your day. It's your time to shine. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, George.